That is the front yard of Browns pass rusher Myles Garrett with the quarterback tombstones adorning it's a little morbid. But Myles Garrett, one of the few guys in the NFL with the ability to back up that vow, Peter. And Garrett on his way to becoming potential Defensive Player of the Year in 2021 as he anchors that great Browns defense that had been very good but gave up 47 points to the Chargers on Sunday. It is time now for today's Speed Round, brought to you by Verizon, the official 5G network of the National Football League. And let's get right to it. Fill in the blank. The quarterback who has impressed me the most so far this season is who?
Kyler Murray. The one thing we didn't know about Kyler Murray is we weren't sure about his long-term accuracy. Kyler Murray's the first quarterback in the long history of the Chicago, St. Louis, Arizona, Phoenix Cardinals franchise to have 3 consecutive games where he completed more than 75% of his passes. So I'm not saying it's an easy one, but to me, I'll take Kyler Murray.
See, this is a tough one for me because there are so many great quarterbacks who are vying for that MVP consideration, whether it's Murray, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers. I have recency bias. And I'm not going to go Tom Brady because he wasn't great last night. It impresses me that he can play in the NFL at age 44. He's another one that's in the MVP conversation. But Lamar Jackson, what he did Monday night, Peter, you called me Mr. Metaphor a couple weeks ago. The metaphor I've been using for what the Ravens passing game did in the second half on Monday night, it was like learning how to finally drive a stick shift. They finally figured it out by necessity. The wife, the water broke, the baby's coming. You don't know how to drive a stick? You figure it out right now. And they did. His numbers in the second half were amazing. The passing accuracy, everything about it. It's like every pass he threw, you knew it was going to be completed. There was a confidence to it, and I hope they take that and build on it. But that to me, and, the throw he made to put them in position to beat the Lions with the 66-yard field goal on 4th and 18. The comeback against the Chiefs. Lamar Jackson has been phenomenal.
If I can just say one thing about Lamar, and I know we're going speed round, but the one thing about Lamar, Chris Sims said it in one of our bumpers, and he said, hey, I've loved Lamar Jackson the whole time. They just need to have the weapons around him, blah, 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 whatever it is that he said. But I'm just saying, Marquise Brown is that man. The problem is he has been hurt so much. And can Marquise Brown stay on the field and allow Lamar Jackson to have the kind of offensive weapon that Eric DeCosta drafted Marquise Brown to be? That is what is vital in that offense. And if Marquise Brown is sitting, you can't have that.
The head coach who has impressed me so far the most this season is who?
Brandon Staley. I know that a lot of people, when he got this job, are saying, they want a Sean McVay wannabe. And look, there's no question when GM Tom Telesco and the hierarchy of the Los Angeles Chargers went mining for a new coach in the offseason, quite honestly, they were looking for a young coach who had that McVay side to him, which is a younger guy full of energy and able to stand in front of a room and basically possess the room. Look, he had to prove it. Brandon Staley had to prove it when he got this job and when he got to training camp. And all you do now is look at this team and you say, this guy has proven it. And he hired the right offensive coordinator in Joe Lombardi.
I was thinking to say Cliff Kingsbury because he was so clearly on the hot seat entering the season and he started 5-0. But I'm going to go Sean McDermott because his team was one of the small handful that had this COVID vaccine acrimony with Cole Beasley and others. And how are we going to get everybody on the same page? And they clearly had an issue. And then they had that clunky right out of the gates loss at home to the Bills, or to the Steelers, obviously. And they have beaten the crap out of everybody ever since. Their average margin of victory is more than 28 points. They have found their groove. They are the only dominant team in the NFL right now. At a time when there is so much parity and everyone is so clustered and any given Sunday really is applicable, the Bills are just steamrolling everyone. So I'll say Sean McDermott. Don't sleep on which team as playoff contenders, Peter.
I would say don't sleep on the Cincinnati Bengals. And everybody's going to say, oh, my God, the Bengals, they can't make it out of the AFC. There's absolutely no way. Well, let's look at the AFC East for a minute. Who's gonna rebound out of that destitute pile of three-team crapola behind Buffalo? All right? And Mike, are you going to call them the destitute pile of three-team crapola? And then who is going to come out of the AFC South? I mean, tell me. So that leaves the West. All right. So is Cincinnati going to be good enough to be one of the teams that can be better than the third team in the AFC West? I think they can. If you sent me to Vegas with $5 right now and said Bengals in playoffs or out, I would say in.
I've currently got them at number 10 in my power rankings, not that they mean anything. I think, what did you call it? Pile of three-team crapola? I'm trying to see if I can change the name of my fantasy team this deep into the season. I kind of like that because my fantasy team is definitely a pile of one-team crapola. For me, I'm going to say the Indianapolis Colts, who are 1-4, but they're in the weakest division in football, and they've suffered through the early season. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And glass half full coming out of Monday night, they looked pretty damn good against the Ravens. If they can take that and build on that, they've got an easy schedule. They've got an easy division. And, yeah, they're 2 games behind the Titans, but they'll have their chances to maybe catch the Titans. And, in a 17-game season, everybody's going to have their down moments, and the Colts have already gotten through there. So they need to start piling up wins. They get the Texans this weekend as a little bit of a confidence builder. I say don't sleep on them. I wouldn't bet $5 on them making it, but they're a team I'm keeping an eye on because if the Titans stumble at all, the Colts are clearly the only team in that division.
They just have no room for error. That's their problem.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, but you could still go 9-8 and win that division potentially. So they could still lose 4 more games. You go 8-4 down the stretch, and you could win the division. Last one. The most surprising thing so far this season is what, Peter?
I would say the mediocrity of kickers. That has really surprised me because there should be no reason in a given week that kickers miss 12 32-yard field goals or whatever it is, 33-yard field goals, which is what an extra point is right now. It's disgraceful. And look, I don't know what the reason is. I've seen all sorts of theories advanced. Hey, make the friggin' kick.
I'll say that, and this is low-hanging fruit, but if we are looking at the most surprising thing that's happened, when you look at this big picture, a week ago when we did this, if you would have told us a week ago that there would be a coach fired, not fired, but gone by the time we do the show the following week, and we would have had to prioritize from 1 to 32, the most likely to the least likely, I don't know where John Gruden would have been. Now, we didn't know anything about any of this stuff 1 week ago at this moment. Right. It wouldn't have been anywhere near the top. We would have gone a long way before we got to John Gruden will be the guy who is out of a job in a week. And I remember arguing late last season, this is a guy who would be on the hot seat if his name was anything other than John Gruden. And if his boss was anyone other than his good buddy Mark Davis, who was never going to fire him. And I think, part of when you look at Mark Davis's comment from Wednesday, you read between the lines, he's not real happy he was put in a position where he had to get rid of the guy that he didn't want to get rid of. So I think this whole Gruden thing and everything around it, for it to happen during football season and provide a tremendous distraction to an otherwise great season, that is stunning to me. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. The Show Me Something draft for Week 6 is next. Pro Football Talk is brought to you by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.